We have a lot of stories in It's a God Thing, and there's all sorts of different things, healing stories, stories of God's provision, stories of God's protection. One of the provision stories that I really love, it's the story of a good friend of mine, actually, Ed and Judy, and they were seminary students and just home from serving our country. And Ed describes this time where their GI Bill didn't come in. They didn't get his check, and they hadn't been paid for his work, and they actually literally had no money to buy food. And as a man, Ed's just feeling like he's not providing for his wife. He feels kind of ashamed. The Western Union dispatch arrived, and what was in that dispatch was a card from their Christian officers group that they had been a part of when they had been overseas. What their friends did was send them a check for $2,000. This couple, 40-some years later now, remembers the moment that God instantaneously and extravagantly provided their needs. And that's what God does. He's lavish in His grace. He's lavish in His provision. He loves us. He cares for us. Now, maybe you haven't ever got a check in the mail for $2,000. Maybe God hasn't yet answered a prayer that quick for you. The reason I tell these stories, though, is to show you that He's present. What Judy and Ed remember is that God answered their prayer. Not this specific thing, but that God answered their prayers. And you know, God does that every day. He provides, He sustains each of us every single day with the breath that we have, with the food that we eat, the little things. It's not about how big the check is that God sends. It's not about how big the miracle is. It's the fact that God Himself sustains us every single day. And it just makes you understand how much the Father loves us when He just goes out of His way to work on behalf of His children.